5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? This is the Worship Leader Podcast. I'm Terry.
And I'm Josh.
This is Josh. We're on a roll.
I got a streak, y'all. I got a streak.
We got Gigi here joining us today.
Special guest.
Special guest. She's gonna help us out today. So I guess we'll just get caught up. We got an exciting episode today, but we usually kind of lay back on the catching up, just so it'll be genuine on camera. So we get caught up. So what you been up to?
Life,
school,
work. Y'all, it's so real. I'm in summer school, and normally it's like 8 weeks, but they condensed it to like 5 for the summer, so it's like 8 weeks worth of stuff condensed.
Yeah, 8 weeks of curriculum condensed into 5 weeks.
So great. Man. Totally not procrastinating. It's great. Totally great. How's it going with you?
Oh, good, man. Things have been good. I'm trying to eat a little better and stuff. Have you ever heard of Tony Robbins?
I have not.
I've been on a Tony Robbins kick. He's a life coach, and he's like he's probably the biggest life coach in the world. He like Bill Clinton, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, all these world-class athletes, kings of other countries and billionaires and all that. He's life coaches to all of these people, and he's got like podcasts and stuff. And I used to like, he's been doing it for a long time, like almost 40 years. But
alrighty then.
Like, I knew who he was and he was on my radar, but he used to do like these seminars, and it would be kind of like, they would be like in a convention center, and they'd have like music, like the music playing, and it was like,
I was like, so he like did
playing on the emotions kind of, but what he tells you is like really sound stuff. Mm-hmm. But I used to always like, how you get those YouTube ads, and it's like, and so I just always thought it was kind of weird, just like the new age kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I listened to one of his podcasts because he was on a podcast of somebody else, and I was like, man, this guy makes a lot of sense. So I started listening to his podcast, and then like now I'm on a trip. I'm trying to get my life together. I'm trying to get my life together, y'all.
Like story of life.
I'm trying to get my life together. So
motto of life right now.
He's all about being like the best version of yourself. So I'm trying to eat better and been exercising 5 times a week and
don't touch it.
5 days a week. So I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying to get it together.
I tried the exercise thing, but that didn't last.
One of the cool things he said, which is it really changed my mind about exercising. So if you're the exercise person that's always you want to exercise, but it's just all these different factors and things. This changed my mindset on it. And I'll give it a quick rundown. I won't. His personal trainer did a podcast, and he talked about exercise, and a few of the things he said was like, you want to get a instead of having a goal saying I want to lose 15 pounds, I want to lose 10 pounds. If you go for something that's more sustainable, like I just want to be the best me, and exercising helps me, it gives me energy, all that stuff. That's how I've been seeing it, and it's kind of changed my mindset. And another thing he said that was really good is like personal trainers. Like, to be a personal trainer, what the goal is to like train The Rock or train somebody big and famous, because that's where all the money is. So personal trainers, they push the culture to train like you're training an athlete, when people like me and you don't need to train like that. He was saying one of the things you want to do with it is like you want to make sure that you're out of breath, because that means you're targeting your circulatory and pulmonary system. He said your muscles want to burn, has to have a little effort, and you want to make sure you're
I'm avoiding. Okay. Yeah. All the stuff I'm avoiding.
And when people go and when people go to the gym for like hours and stuff. He said that's like when you train for hours, what happens is your testosterone's low and your cortisone's high. That makes you feel horrible. But if you train for 20 minutes, then your testosterone's high, your cortisone low. That gives you energy. That's when you feel pumped. That's when you feel the best. So he's saying a normal person should just train about 20 minutes.
A normal person.
Yeah, normal person should just train
Okay.
about 20 minutes. So I've been doing 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes a day. Man, I'm on a rabbit trail. But I've been doing 20
Honestly,
minutes.
this is helping somebody. I don't
It's
know who it's helping, but it's helping
I don't know.
somebody.
Like 20, 30 minutes a day. And so, and it's been, and I don't train hard. I used to feel like one of the things he said was like, you look at like the Rocky video and he's like running up this mountain with like chains on him and all that stuff. He's like,
Jumpsuit and all.
you don't need to do that. You just need to be out of breath a little. You need to sweat a little. You need to have a little burn in your muscles. He said, as long as you're challenging your body a little bit, then you're doing the job. So
Okay.
that's
then.
what I've been doing. It's been really good.
It's not that hard, y'all.
It's not. It's not
that
as hard as we think. We've been led to believe. But yeah, I've been on this whole kick with I'm trying to get it together, y'all. So hopefully I'm not here next month like I quit it all. You know? I quit it all.
I
So.
had 3 cheeseburgers today.
I've been counting calories and all that good stuff. So it was
Luigi's over it.
passing up like all the sweet food and stuff. So been doing good. But yeah, it's been quite a journey, I guess, these last couple of weeks. So getting moving on with this podcast, the first thing we're gonna do is a would you rather, and this one is would you rather dance or sing along with every song you hear. So that's every song. So like you're in a department store and a song comes on.
Oh.
You're either dancing to it or you're singing to it. If you're, this is every song, every time a song comes on, ever.
This is hard.
You're either dancing to it or singing along with it.
I'm going to say sing.
Yeah.
Mainly because I feel like that's what I do anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, like that person that like you walk by them and they're like singing under their breath. And like singing like all the parts and doing the drum parts and everything
Yeah.
like that. Like they're the one-man band. That's probably me.
Yeah, okay.
So that's probably me on the aisle over. Like.
Yeah, and it would be the same for me because, I mean, dancing, it's kind of weird just to go in a
Yeah.
store and to break out into
I'm not a dancer.
I'm not a dancer
dancer.
either. And you can kind of sing and people consider that normal. But if you just break out dancing,
You might even get
Every
you
time.
sound nice. You may get that. People they're not going to
No,
say that if
not-
you dance.
not
They're not
with
going to
the
say, you're
dancer.
such a good dancer. They're going to be like, why are you dancing
why are you
in
dancing?
Walmart?
This is weird. Like you're at the cash register and the song comes on, you just
Just break out.
like I can't help it. I'm sorry.
They're like, sir, can you stop and take your penny and go? Like,
And if it was themed, what if it was like the type of music? So if dun 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 dun, you
my
get all
God.
intense. You're at the
I wouldn't know what to as a if I was a cashier or like working at a retail store or something like that, and someone just like bust out and dance, I wouldn't know what to do.
I wouldn't know what to
I
do
would just
either.
be like, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna go check something else because I don't get paid enough for this.
Yeah.
Like-
I do not. They don't pay me enough to care.
I know.
I was at a restaurant one time and somebody said that it was at well, I won't say that. But I asked, I was like, is it extra to get this? He was like, just I'll do it anyway. They don't pay me enough to care. So he basically gave me extra of whatever because he was like, I don't know if it's extra or not, but here.
Also, huge thank you to everybody who does that.
Yes.
Like if you work
Yes.
at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A and you're giving
Yes.
sauces that you're probably not supposed to give, but you give them anyway. Thank you from
Thank
the person
you.
on the other side.
Thank you. So yeah, and moving on to the next one. We're gonna move on to the next one. There's a story that's been circulating in the news.
It's okay.
It's within the past couple of weeks. There was a Texas mom who was arrested after posing as her 13-year-old daughter in school. She said, "I did it to prove a point." Casey Garcia, 30 years old, was taken into custody and charged with criminal trespassing and tampering with government records, according to the El Paso Sheriff's Office. A 30-year-old mom was arrested on Friday after successfully posing as her 13-year-old daughter in middle school in what she called a social experiment to test the campus security. Casey Garcia of San Elizario, Texas. I never heard of that a day in my life. San Elizario, Texas, was taken into custody and charged with criminal trespassing and tampering with the government records, according to the sheriff's office. So
wait, government records? This is a high school student.
Yeah, I know.
Not like a senator. Wait,
they were trying to prove a point. They were making a
I got questions.
And the thing was, she made it all the way to the last period. She went through lunch.
That's awkward.
The assistant principal spoke to her, walked by, but she did have on like a.
That's so awkward.
She had on a mask. She had a hood on and glasses.
But I feel like a person that knows her to some degree, you should have just been like, they're acting really weird.
And
today.
she was in the class with it, with the teachers and everything. She went and ate lunch and everything. It
they
seems
must
like
sound the same or something, because I got questions.
Yeah, it's crazy. And here's the thing: she said it was to prove a point, but like criminal, like tampering with government records, that's like federal now, right?
Yeah.
So
like, also, what government records? What did she have? Maybe a driver's license that I'm pretty sure she's not gonna. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't think that like school records were. I thought school records were like for the state. I didn't know it was a government thing. Oh, Gigi.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be all right, baby.
It's gonna be all right. She woke up from her nap, so it's a process with her.
Oh yeah, and I didn't know it was gonna be like. I didn't know that it was like a government thing. So that means now, to prove a point, like she can't vote anymore. Because if you're a felon, now correct me if I'm wrong, all the like legal people, but if you have a government charge, that's like you're now a felon. Which means she can't vote. There's like certain loans and stuff she can't qualify. She can't qualify for and all that.
Because I feel like that's a shaky accusation.
They did that. They did that to prove. That was absolutely to prove a point because
I'm just
the
like,
school
just
felt
admit
kinda,
that you messed up.
Yeah,
we get it. It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not, but it's okay. It's not, but it's okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that was crazy. And well, I just thought about this, but to play the devil's advocate, even though she it's clear that this was not her intentions, but if you have like some kind of predator or something like that in school, that's a 30-year-old, like that could be a major thing, like the minors' security.
Yeah,
like so.
But also, I think that was also why she was like so adamant about it too. Where it's just like, what if I was one of those people?
Yeah, to prove like, that. Yeah, to prove that.
I just made it to last period.
That proves
and none
her
of y'all
point.
Knew.
Yeah, that proves exactly her point. You like, I came in here and I was just
flippantly
a normal
doing
person.
It.
Yeah, and nobody noticed. You spoke to the principal and all the assistant principal and everything. So. That is crazy. So, Mrs. Garcia, if you're out there and if you're watching,
if you're out there,
I don't know. That those were some high stakes to prove that point. Yeah, like I don't know.
Like that's one of those. It's just like, I don't think anybody was prepared for that. Like,
I don't. She took it by storm on this one. Mm-hmm. So that's crazy. So we're gonna wrap this one up and move on to the next story. So for this next story, what we're going to do is it's story time. It's story time. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell the stories of us, since this is the Worship Leader podcast, we're going to tell the story about our first time leading worship. So you want me to start, or you want to tell yours first?
Yeah, I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. So my first time, let me get a drink of water for it. So my first time leading worship, this, for me, I've told this story before on this podcast, but this was before anybody watched it. So, or before there was even video, before there was even like, when it was just me monologuing in my bedroom, like, whew, some dark days.
birthdays. Oh my gosh.
But I told this story before. So the church we go to it's a pretty nice sized church. It's bigger than the average church size in America. We run about, I think we run max. We run about 2,500, 3,000,
so.
2,500 to 3,000. We run max, and we've split up into 2 services. So now that's divided into 2 services. But anyway, this was back in the days of 1 service, and the morning service after Sunday school. Everybody would come in, and we called it big church because that's when everybody came. All the Sunday school classes came in, and it was big church. So I was in youth choir at the time, and I had the song. This will tell how old it was. The song. You remember the song? The presence of the Lord is here.
Oh, you did that song.
The presence of the Lord is here.
You got to be on it with that song too.
And so, coming in, that was a solo. So the way we came in, it was a solo, and I had the solo. And of course, nervous as all get out, shaking, trembling. And so I didn't look at the crowd one time. I literally, this was a stage, us facing you. I literally paced this way to that way.
Oh, you were a pacer.
Oh, I paced.
Oh.
And it wasn't like an anointed pace. It was like like I was mall walking.
Anointed pace.
You know how the mall walk. You know how people pray and walk and they're like, ooh, in the spirit. It was not that at all. It was like the lions in the zoo. You know how the lions in the zoo just walking back and forth.
Because they ain't got nothing else to do.
I ain't got nothing else to do. So that's what I was doing, and I slowed the song down like way too slow, and I was singing, and the singing was not bad at all, but what it was is like I was completely disconnected. I sang the song and walked from side to side to side to side until I finished, and I slowed the song way down. I did get through it, made it through it. It was a good experience, but there was no connection with the audience. There was connection with God, because I mean, when you're nervous like that, you have no. There is. You praying like, ooh, before, like, oh, you gonna miss the service. You praying so much, because you're like, Lord, I can't do it without. I cannot.
Still in the back?
I cannot. No way in the
like,
world.
Where's Terry?
Yeah,
just tearing it up.
Unless you go before me, I'm not going. Peeping out, is God out there on that stage?
I know,
because if he ain't. So that was my thing for my first time leading worship. It was a good experience. I slowed the song way down, and I paced back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it was an experience that I definitely needed. I definitely, looking back on it, it was a great experience. In the moment, it was not a great experience because I was so nervous. I was so flustered. I was so like shaky and trembly. The whole nine, everything that comes with that. I was all of it. But looking back on it, I think it was a great experience. Which, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you, because I listened to that last podcast and I was like, "Ooh, I'm talking McGee on here." Oh. Like I was talking like crazy. So I'm gonna back up a little bit.
I got no complaints here. Oh gosh. I'm trying to reach back. I'm trying to make sure I reach back as far in my memory as possible, because it's weird. I can remember stuff from when I was a child, and then someone asked me something about last week, and I'm just like, ugh. So, yeah, on that, the earliest thing I can remember is first time. Oh, yeah, first time. So my first time actually wasn't bad. Now, granted, like I wasn't at POA at the time. I was at the church that my parents go to now, and it was one of those things where it was just like just about everybody that was singing had a part, and so like I had my thing, and it was weird. I was nervous, and so like I was singing like way like down in the basement, like way down in the basement,
like an octave lower than you were supposed to, or
basically. That's it. And I mean, like everybody was like, "Oh, that was so good," and I was just like,
"Thank you."
Yeah. I did my one line though. I had it though. I had it.
Did you like come in at the time you were supposed to and all that?
Yeah, it was like, I guess like for a first time, it wasn't traumatic.
Okay.
So
yeah, mine wasn't traumatic. It could be worse. It could be like you just seen that Sister Act where it's like, dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
and you just sitting there, you looking
Just
at them and they
standing
looking at you like you gonna sing. You just like no.
All right, bring it back. We'll do it again. Dun,
From the
dun,
top.
dun, dun. Okay, now ready? Top. Yeah, so it could have been. Yeah, I'm sure it could have been a lot worse. Yeah, but those like as far as nervous. I'm pretty sure you were like super nervous, huh?
I was
super nervous. Yeah,
I've had a huge issue with people hearing me. Like it's one of those things where it's just like if I know someone can hear me, my voice changes. Like it literally happens. I feel it happen, and it's weird.
And it happens. This is something you still like deal with.
Yes, I'm getting a lot better now, but it was just like it used to be one of those things like if they were just like flip apart and I knew someone else was gonna hear me, you wasn't gonna get a flip part out of me. That probably wasn't gonna happen.
It would be 4-part harmony.
Somebody else better be singing with me. That's what I do know.
Yeah, early on that was a big issue for me too. Like I'm a really introverted person.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's something we need to cover in one of
Yes.
the podcasts is the introverted worship leader, because that's
Y'all,
I think a lot of
serious.
people are introverted, and that you know what, I'm not gonna go into introvert. We'll save that for another time. But I will say this, me being an introvert, like you were saying, like there were early on, I couldn't even sing in my own home. Like I would not be able to sing in front of my parents, in front of my siblings, in front of anyone.
Yes.
And at the thought or at the me having to sing, like I would be like that. Like my voice would change. I get the flusters and all that stuff. And like I promise y'all, this is not what I got the right note up here and the right everything up here, but you go to singing.
And
like,
that makes like auditions like terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Because then
Yeah.
you get in there, you could be in the car, have sung like all 3 parts of the song and killed it. You get to the audition.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
And then you get to the audition, it's just like, hello, my name is Josh, and I'm gonna sing Amazing Grace, and yeah, here we go, Amazing Grace. like
Like the guy at the podium. Oh man.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. It's
great times.
It
Scary
is.
in the moment, but it's fun to laugh
Scary
at
in the
now.
moment, but those were our experiences with leading worship for the first time. They were overall they were okay. We're not train wrecks, so
It could have been.
it could have easily been a train wreck. Just one factor been off, and it could have been a train wreck.
It's literally God. I've never caused one. I'm gonna be honest, because I've had some times when I'm just like, oof. Well, I hope they just keep going. Like this morning it was for me. It wasn't a train wreck, but it was almost like one of those things where I didn't come in on time, because I was in my particular set of ears that I was in. Uh-huh.
I didn't have an Aviom to control them. So the
Oh.
board controlled them, and it was nobody's problem. It wasn't the board problem. It wasn't. I got them fixed
Mm-hmm.
I got them fixed. The sound guy fixed them, and they don't touch the stuff after they fix it. They have no reason to. But he fixed them, and then for the service, it was completely different from the.
That's awkward.
And like it came in with a track was how the song came in, and all I had was me, 2 other tenors, 1 alto, and piano. And piano was not in, and nobody was singing. So so announcements were over, and I heard Cam saying 1, 2, 3, 4, and it was silent. So I was like, "Is this my song?" And I saw Tim kind of looking back at me. So I kind of walked up. I kind of walked up and made it right in time and said like some kind of like the weirdest thing. Y'all bless the Lord, and went right into singing.
And I know he was probably just like, where is Terry? He's probably just looking around like, huh, that's odd. Why is he back there?
I was like, I know I'm supposed to be hearing some music right now, but and it was completely silent. It was
And
like
for-
I was in a vacuum.
And for those of y'all who don't know, like this is like the in-ear system. And if you're used to using in-ears and like with the ears you don't hear the right stuff, it's
Yeah.
literally like you're in a vacuum.
It can. It's like you're in a vacuum. I was in a vacuum for the intro of that song. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, silent, and I was like, oh my goodness, I know something's supposed to be happening, and it might be me.
And it might be me.
I was kind of like halfway walking up, but not really. And then so Tim turned around. I was like, okay, that's me. So I kind of walked up and made it.
It's serious.
Right on time. Yeah,
that stuff is serious, y'all.
it's serious.
Like, and it just know that it's.
These are like I guess first world country like problems.
I know.
This is me. My in-ears didn't work. Can you bring me my mocha loca latte and all that stuff? That's not the case.
But in the moment, it doesn't feel like a first world. It feels like the world is about to come crashing because you're about to destroy the song.
Right.
Like,
In the moment, it does.
You are going to destroy.
Does not feel like a first world problem because like you're depending on that stuff in it, and when things are removed that you're relying on, then that it can be a problem sometimes. It can. So yeah, those were our experience. And speaking of that, we'll be right along in the vein of this, talking about teamwork and working with others because things, it's called a praise team. You have lots of different people on a praise team, and you have lots of different personalities on a praise team, and sometimes you have praise team members, you know, that don't gel with others and all of that. And so working together with others, how does that work? And I think first I'll get along first with saying like this is everybody's problem. Like everybody has this problem.
Everybody.
But I think my particular issue is like when praise team member, and we'll talk about working through this, but there needs to be a conflict in order to work through. If we're going to talk about working through conflicts, there have to be conflicts. So I think my particular conflict would be with people that just are not aware of themselves. They're like the bull in the china shop, and they don't know it. They don't know to correct it. They don't because you have different personalities, and like I work well with a lot of different personalities, and I think knowing when in the words of the psalmist Kenny Rogers, you gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em.
Honestly, though,
you do. You have
you really
to,
do.
You have to. You gotta know. And I think I know in the past, but we're blessed at the POA to have like. It's been really great. Mm-hmm. Like I've been on the team for a really long time, and there's not a lot of tension, and there's not a lot of problems, and there's not a lot of ulterior motives and things like that. But I've been around and I've seen places where that could be the case. And working with others and working with personalities, one of the things that we have to do as ourselves, like that we can do within ourselves. I know other people have their things, and we can't necessarily control that. But if we control the things with ourselves, the team as a whole will get better. Mm-hmm. And this is what I would submit. Like, we have to work on being accepting of things. Like, I'll tell you this. Another little story. Like I said, I'm rambling like crazy, but y'all just deal with me. I'm sorry. I'm rambling. I got all these stories and I'm telling them. So when I used to teach Sunday school, and it was with a college and career group. Oh, yeah. And this was when I first got into teaching. Like I was accustomed to being on staff and being the person that, you know, hung out with the people and whatever. But teaching was new to me. And so I was not accustomed to teaching. I used to be in there, and when I was in there, you know, I was hung out with people and did other things, but I didn't teach a whole lot. And when I first started to teach, one of the things we did was like we did curriculum. It was like the workbooks, and everybody was on the same curriculum.
I remember those.
And so I went to. I wasn't good. I was gonna say I was good, but I wasn't. So I remember teaching a lesson in specific, and I didn't make it through the whole lesson. It was scattered. It was sparse. You can feel it. You can feel it. I felt it. Like I bit through it. I went through it and whatever. And so I didn't make it. I didn't even make it through the whole lesson before class was over. And later, I had a friend of mine who was on staff. Again, he was like, I don't know if he set up a meeting with me or what, or we were just together at one time, and he pretty much, he did it very nicely, but he pretty much told me, yeah, you suck. This is what you can do to be better. God. He did it very nice. Like, he didn't say that. But
we all need that friend.
We all need that friend. And that could have went a couple of ways for me, because I did feel away, because human nature, I mean, you're going to feel away when somebody,
Be like, no, that was perfect. I know it was perfect.
I knew it was trash. Like, I couldn't. I knew it was garbage pan. So I couldn't. I couldn't. I still felt the way, but he did it in a very, like this is to help you. This is a loving manner. So that made me be able to accept it more, because I saw the manner in which he was doing it. Mm-hmm. And even though I felt a way about it, I had to sit back and say, okay, this is not him giving, this is not personal. Like, he's telling me something to make me better and to help me out. And so that's kind of how we need to manage ourselves on a worship team, because if we ever need to tell anybody something, because sometimes you have to tell people things that may make them feel a certain way. Sometimes it just happens. But we need to make sure if we're on a team with somebody, that we're doing that in love, and that they know up front that this is for the betterment of the team. This is to make you better, to help you grow. It's something I see that I can help you develop in this. And if we go to people like that, and the people that are receiving it, if they receive it in a way to say, okay, I realize I feel away because that's human nature. I'm going to feel away with somebody telling me something, but I understand this is for my good. I can feel away, but I'm not going to react away, and I'm not going to let this.
Bust crazy.
Yeah, right. And I'm not going to let this plant a seed in me, And so I think as a praise team or as a worship team, if we can deal with each other like this, and if we can work with each other like this will save a lot of drama. A lot of, because
I agree.
us singers and artistic people, we can have the drama sometimes. The drama comes along with that with it. I don't know, if you're artsy, sometimes you can be a drama person.
And so, you know who you are. You know who you are.
So yeah, I think we should approach worship leading and praise team as members of praise team, and as worship leaders. I think we should approach it in that manner, thinking of the other person, and having their perspective, try to see it from their perspective as well as ours. And of course, you had God in this mix, because we are supposed to have the fruit of the Spirit. So we are supposed to be meek and gentle and kind to each other. So I guess we should always seek to lead in that way in situations. And I know all the time, sometimes everybody's not, prayerful on the team. So you might have somebody that doesn't do that, but we should strive to, even if somebody is not, if their prayer life is not as strong right now, and they may have had a horrible day. You never know what's going on with somebody. So that's I think true. With issues, we should approach it looking at it in that manner. Oh yeah, another thing I thought about is communication. Like, communication is key. Communication is key, because it's like, a lot of times, and we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. Everybody's guilty of it. Like, we expect something. In our head, we expect something, but we never clearly state it. Mm-hmm. And in our mind, we expect people to get what we're thinking we want them to do, and we never
it's
really
obvious for
expressed
us.
it. It's obvious, right? It's obvious for us, but we never expressed it clearly. And that is a huge, like, just communication in general. It is one of the biggest factors, because unless you make something clear and make it known and make, I guess, expectations and requirements, and I know words like that are heavy words, but there needs to be some expectation.
Words,
They're necessary words, right? We need to make sure that we are very clear and concise with that. And I know myself, this is one of the things that I have a hang up with, because I'm kind of a person that I never want to offend someone, or I never want to have somebody feel away about something I said. So sometimes I leave things unsaid because I feel like that they may, like, I'm talking to myself right now, because sometimes I leave things unsaid because I feel like it may hurt the person, or I may assume that they are thinking the way that I'm thinking. And sometimes things are unclear, and then when you get unclearness, and that's when things begin to, like, people have to guess at stuff, and people have to.
And people don't want to guess. Just
Right.
fun fact, no one wants to guess.
Nobody wants to guess. So, that's one of the huge things. It's like communication, and also, like I was saying, just being a person that on a team that thinks of others first. Like you think, and of course, I always like to have people's best intentions at heart. Like, if somebody says something to me, I automatically first think, well, if it sounds snappy or it sounds a way, I automatically kind of assume, well, I know they said it that way, but that may not be necessarily how they meant it, or it may have came out in a different way than I'm receiving it. So I always give the benefit of the doubt on that. Most of the time, this has got to be like super obvious that they're otherwise that they don't mean it that way. But that's how I guess that's how I try to approach being on a worship team and being a worship leader. I try to approach it in those manners, and I need to get better on the communication stuff. But though I think those are really huge factors. Anything you can think of that?
I would say, I guess, like, more on a more general sense, like, just making sure that you have a healthy culture on your team, because, like, what you talked about with, like, if there's, like, that one person that comes in and they're just not there mentally for whatever reason or whatever, like, if you have a culture of, okay, like, this is what we do, like what you talked about with the requirements, like, this is what we do as singers, this is what's expected as musicians, that minimizes the negative impact massively.
Oh, yeah, and I thought about this as we were saying it. When you have that culture, a lot of times the culture does the speaking. So sometimes you don't even have to sit that person down and say something, because they get in here and they see this culture is like this, and they buy in. You know, they buy in. This is what it means to be a praise team member here or a worship leader here. So this is kind of what I do. So that's a really good point about that, about the culture issue. That's really good. Yeah, setting a culture that does a lot of the speaking and does a lot of the I guess the grunt work, for us.
Because then it's just like, even when people, like, don't necessarily, like, do right, they're more likely to come back and just be like, hey, I'm sorry about being whatever, without anybody even having a
right
whatever.
Because they
just know
feel
they
it.
were just like,
it.
I was throwing the whole team off. Like, it happens.
And it happens, and it works on both sides with, like, personalities and dealing with people, and also with the standard of excellence. I'll use excellence because, I mean, we are to be skilled and we are to practice. So when you set a standard, and I don't mean like a whip, like that kind of setting a standard of excellence, but setting a standard of excellence as far as, like, making sure you practice a song enough to be able to execute it, and not distract when the spirit is moving because you don't know all of the things.
Yes.
Like it.
And because the thing is, it's like, it's just really awkward when it comes down to it. And you really are the only one singing for whatever reason, or you're the only one playing, or like all of a sudden it's super important that you're doing your part for whatever reason. Because anything can happen in a service,
Right,
fun fact.
right.
Anything can happen. So it's just like, if you don't come with that mindset of like, I gotta, bring what I got, then when that moment pops up, then it's everybody's just kind of like, well, what happened? Like, you know what we do. Like everybody just kind of stops and
like wait,
wait a minute.
Yeah, we are this.
Looking around and trying to figure out who did it.
Yeah. So it's that's another key issue is just the culture that we cultivate and we make, and we may have to throw that and go a little more lengthy on the culture thing and bring that together in another podcast, like setting the culture. That's a really good. We'll have to put that on
because I just know like every music related anything. Because I used to be in like marching band and all that.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
Saxophone for all you saxophone people.
Which one? What saxophone was it?
Bari sax for marching.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, but it was just like every band that I've been in, and just like even music wise, singing wise, like there was always like there was a standard that was set.
I'm sorry. It was like really. She was like, okay, I guess.
She knows. But there's like this unspoken standard that's supposed to be had, and it's not like this whole thing where it's just like you don't meet that standard and it's like whoop-a-ya kind of thing. But it's just like you just kind of know like I'm probably not meeting that standard, so maybe I should go back and practice some more, or maybe I should go take this a little more seriously, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and another thing I just thought about is like one of the things that can really hurt that culture is, and what we need to do as worship leaders and praise team members is to not have like a complaining and all that kind of thing. Like I remember a job I used to work at where I worked for an airline, and a lot of changes were made, and a lot of the employees weren't particularly happy with the management at the time. And I remember like groups of people would get together after a flight and just complain about how this isn't going, how that is, and it just drug the morale of the whole, everybody that was there just drug it down. Mm-hmm. And it just made the place a miserable place to work. And so as praise team members and worship leaders, one of the things we can do to work as a team to make sure that culture stays strong is if we feel a way about something, we can go address the person correctly instead of bringing the drama to the team and complaining and stuff, because that can pull down the morale of the whole team, and it can start to weigh on the music ministry if we take our complaints and we only complain and never address anybody and ask, okay, or let them know our concerns, because again, communication. People may not even know. They may not even know that a lot of people feel a certain way about something. But if we go into something and we complain and it just pulls down the morale. So that's one of the keys in keeping up the culture. One thing we can do as individuals is just keep it to ourselves, like, and go talk to. Just go talk to the person that needs to be talked to about it, and not everybody else.
And also, like, with tagging on with that, making sure that you're the type of person that when someone comes to you, that it doesn't become like a thing.
Yeah, right.
Because it's just like, yeah,
especially if they come to you in love and everything. It definitely should. It shouldn't be a thing in any circumstance, but especially if they come to you in love, it should not be a thing. And if they come to you not in love, then we should, as worship leaders and praise team members, we should understand that that the bigger picture is God and God glorified, and the music ministry being an entity that God can get the glory out of. And sometimes we have to take a back seat to the comments.
Yeah.
I know it's hard, but sometimes we have to at times
hard.
for the greater good. Oh yeah, it's
Because there'll be some times when you just gonna be like, yeah. But
yeah.
I mean, I guess, and it's like, it's one of those things, just make sure it's a two-way street, be able to go to people, and then make sure that you're a person that people can go to.
Yeah, right, exactly. And like that's part of being a cohesive team, just openness, and don't take things so personal. Like, just try not to, because it's easy to feel like things are personal attacks when they aren't. People really don't have enough time that they're really not worried about you and your business and your
anyway.
stuff. Most people. Some people thrive on it, but most people,
ain't got the time
yeah.
or the energy.
Right,
They
exactly.
barely got the energy to be at that practice, much less to be worried about you.
Right, exactly. So it's just putting all those. Just a quick recap. Like, I'll try to remember all of the things, but just in teamwork, we want to make sure that we're somebody that we can, like we just said, we can go to that person, being a person that somebody can come to us with concerns, and they can be kept confidential if they need to be kept confidential, and they can be they make sure we handle them the right way and with the fruit of the Spirit. And also, when we go to somebody with a concern, make sure that we handle that with the fruit of the Spirit also. And we want to make sure that we're cultivating and keeping a culture that supports what the music ministry expects and requires, and want to make sure that we're keeping that, we're not going against what that culture believes with slander and all of this stuff behind people's backs, and all of the things that can pull down a music program. So I think that covers a lot of it. This is such a broad. There's a lot of things we may have missed, and if we did, broad. Let us know. Just let us know in the comments, and we can discuss them. I enjoyed this podcast. I enjoyed going through everything, and we hope that you were able to grab something from this. Because
this could have been like a 3-hour conversation. It
really could have. There's so many. And we may need to revisit it. I don't know. Yeah. We may. If you want to revisit it, let us know and we'll revisit it. Any questions you may have.
We like to talk.
We like to talk. Oh yeah, and with that, like, we've done a bunch of episodes, and after a while, you get to where you have to reach and grasp for topics. So if y'all have any ideas on topics or anything, so that we'll have a pretty big backlog where of topics that we can just pull up readily, please let us know in the comments. Anything you'd like us to talk about, you want to see us discuss.
Any questions
you may have, let us know, and we'll tackle them. We'll address anything y'all got, And so also, if you watching via YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, let somebody know about it. Like I said, we have a bit of knowledge between us, and we like to share it. So if you know somebody that can benefit from these topics, please share it with them. Let them know about it. And I think that's about it. Is that?
Oh yeah.
All right, guys, that is it for this episode of the Worship Leader Podcast. We will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Peace.